Hi, welcome to another episode of Room 36.
Hey,
Today we have Slava on the show. Thanks for coming, man.
thanks for having me.
Slava is my boss, but more importantly, a friend. And I want to give you a scenario to start out this
Oh my
conversation today.
Just straight like that.
Yep.
All right.
You've got it easy, actually. Sort of. So, for whatever reason, you need to spend 1 year homeless. I don't know who's decided this. The gods. You're an astrologist. But you get to choose any place in the world to be homeless. Number one, you have to choose an outfit that you're going to wear every single day for this entire year. And you need to decide what your minimum bare budget is for food. So firstly, where are you going to go?
I would go for something warm but not exotic. I would say Holland, Spain, something along those lines, where it's not too cold and not too hot.
Doesn't it get pretty cold in Holland, man?
Have you ever seen Dutch people? Like, they always wear the same outfit all year round. And they feel fine.
What's that outfit?
Uh,
Jeans?
Yeah. It's like, imagine an English person, like maybe some kind of light coat, sweater, sweatshirt, something along those lines, jeans and shoes. And they're fine all year round. Even when they came to Ukraine and it was super cold here, they would still like, oh my God, it can get cold. No way. But it's, that the frame of temperature is pretty much the same. So it would be from, let's say, 7 degrees Celsius up to 15 all year round.
Okay.
Not too hot, not too cold.
So you're going to stay in Europe?
Most likely, yes. I feel comfortable.
All right,
the language.
What's your outfit?
Something like that, I think. I'll be fine. I mean, the branded is not that important. Something that can get warmer and colder and still feels practical.
Okay. The fact that you're in Europe is going to influence your budget for sure. What's your bare minimum budget going to be?
Well, you said homeless, you never said unemployed. So I'm pretty fine working for a food place and getting food there. So if I have to, live in a sleeping bag or on the street. But by the way, I think one of the reasons why I decided to stay in Europe was because when I saw homeless guys in England, they were the most settled homeless people I've ever seen. Like, this portable TV sets, cell phones, power banks, sleeping bags. Like, they do look fancy and comfortable there. So I think that's subconscious reasons why I chose it.
The good life. Have you been around Europe a lot?
A few times now and then.
Okay, which of those countries do you really connect with?
Ireland, definitely.
Ireland.
I've been a lot to different Baltic countries and Eastern Europe because of debating, but Ireland is in my heart.
Okay, I want to get to Ireland in a moment, but you're a debater.
I used to debate in high school. Then there was no league for me to debate anymore, so I became a judge for high school.
Whoa. So there's a league? It's like a sport.
It is competitive debating. And then we founded an NGO for school kids in Ukraine to practice argumentation, critical thinking, active listening. And I'm still a co-founder of this NGO, and we run a number of events across Ukraine to teach guys how to debate.
I didn't know that. I didn't know exactly what you did with that. I just knew that you were the argumentation guy. So I've always tried to avoid arguing with you.
Well, keep trying.
So what does that look like as a sport? How do people debate against each other? Is the topic chosen for them?
It depends. Mostly you have to learn the basics first, like what is an argument, what is the evidence, how to do the preparation thing. Then you get a team. Normally it's 2 or 3 people. There are 3 types of events with open resolutions when people say, we'll be debating languages. And you don't know what exactly is going to be debated. So you'll find out 15 minutes before the round that English is the easiest language to learn. And you get the team randomly assigned for you, so you don't decide where you're going to be. And for 15 minutes, you have to prepare your arguments. And then there are semi-closed when you know it's going to be something more specific, like human rights in Ukraine, but you still don't know the resolution. And then the third one, when they actually announce that Ukraine should introduce the policy to make Daniel more comfortable. This is a very specific one. So
I agree with that one. Make me more comfortable. And then what? You get like 1 minute to present your argument?
Normally, it's around 6 to 8 minutes.
Okay.
And depending on the format, there are multiple formats in debating. You would have questions either during the speech or after the speech as a Q&A section.
And there's judges.
Yes, and that's what I was doing for quite a while.
Are there biased judges?
They try not to be. They introduced the principle of tabula rasa, like the blank sheet where you're supposed to give away all your confirmations and thoughts about the topic, and you have to score each of the participant on their style, structure, strategy, and a number of sub-criteria.
Okay. Are any of the judges parents of the contestants?
Nope. They could be if the tournament is big enough, so they would be in a different league. For example, if their child is in the junior league, then they could potentially, if they qualify as a judge in the trials, they could go and judge the English league, for instance.
Okay. Let's get to Ireland. Why'd you choose Ireland? You lived there for some time, yeah?
I think Ireland chose me. It's not that you choose Ireland.
Hey, that's what I say about Ukraine. Ukraine chose me.
Maybe it did.
Okay.
And it's been a dream. I don't really remember how it happened because it has always been there, in the movies, in the culture, in the music, the traditions.
The Guinness,
Irish folk concerts. We found an Irish folk band in Kharkiv. We were going to the concert there. Then they were coming to Dnipro when I lived there. And it was always something serious. So it was even weird when I realized that, okay, I might go there. And I decided to challenge myself. And the challenge was to collect to the flight using the metal hryvnias coins. Right now it's easier because there are 2 and 5 hryvnias. And back in those times, there was only one golden big 1 hryvnia coin, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I had to collect 1,750 of those. That's a big set of coins. It was like this.
Well, I don't get it. Why did you collect these coins? Why didn't you collect the bills?
Bills are easy. Like I was making enough money to buy the ticket, but it's a dream, and the dreams don't come true easily. And then it turns out that there's going to be a huge debate event there, a global youth forum. There were people from 38 countries coming, and I qualified as a judge. So everything came together. I had the sum close to what I needed, and this event was happening. So I just went there and stayed there for more than a month. 2 weeks was the event, and around 3 or 4 more weeks, I was just goofing around.
Where at? Dublin?
Dublin, Galway, and Cork.
Okay. Oof. Did you fly with Ryanair?
That was actually another cool story.
That's an Irish airline, correct?
Yeah. And I tried to buy the ticket from Ryanair, and they kind of failed to let me know that I need the transit visa in UK to go through Heathrow.
Yeah.
And I got the notification about it 3 days before the flight. And of course, it was not enough time to apply for one.
Cancelled.
I tried to settle it, and it was cancelled. So I spent extra money for another ticket. And
with Wizz Air?
No, it was British Airways, I guess. But it was through a different airport with the transit zone where I didn't need to get into the UK. And I was so overwhelmed with all this stuff. So when I actually arrived to Ireland, I didn't have anything booked where I would like to stay. So I was just there with my backpack.
Homeless. With this outfit.
And it kind of worked out very interestingly for me because I took this shuttle from the airport and I had no idea where I was going. So I was just staring at the window like, okay, that looks like downtown-ish. I had no idea. It was also quite late, around 11. And then when I got out, it turned out that people were leaving pubs and it was super crowded for a few minutes and then everybody just disappeared. There was a lady who came to me and asked for €1 for her parents to blah, 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 basically beggar. I gave her €1 because I had some change from the airport and then things just smoothed out. Free Wi-Fi, a nice hotel right across the corner. It turned out to be the lowest budget I could find.
Are you saying that karma happened?
I would say that Dublin said hi, and I was nice to Dublin. So Dublin introduced me warmly and welcomed me. And then I spent 3 amazing days there. It was so fun, very creative, lots of walking, Guinness, Jameson, pubs, but also strange food.
Did you know a lot of people there when you went?
I knew no one in Dublin when I came.
Best option.
So I would just talk to strangers and guys who were staying in the same hotel, meeting people around. Then on my way back, I already met some locals. And it turns out there are 2 kinds of Irish people.
Patrick's and Ryan's.
What I actually meant is people who live in the city and speak kind of English, and then people who live in villages, and that's a totally different language.
Okay.
Like rural Irish is You just guess what people say, even if they speak English. But as far as I know, you've been to Ireland as well.
Been to Ireland for 3 days or so.
3 days.
Yeah, I stayed with the
almost like
Chinese.
2 weeks.
I did couch surfing at some Chinese guy's house.
Chinese guys
Yeah,
in Ireland.
yeah. So I don't think I met any Irish people there. Met some Spanish people.
Did you get any Irish food?
I think I got Mexican food. So,
So just as a month, you stayed in Ireland with a
I
family
didn't
of
do it.
Chinese guys
No,
to
I
eat
haven't.
Mexican food.
Basically, I haven't experienced Ireland in that way. But I heard some of this accent. And
Noise.
noise. You went to the US after that? Before that?
As a student, yeah.
Okay. Talk to me about the US. Where'd you go? What'd you do? How long were you there?
I had 2
Do you recommend
terms.
it? You had 2 terms.
Once as a work and travel student.
Sounds like a service.
Sounds more like a prison, but it was fun. I was working in New England, a small town next to Portland, Maine, and we were working in the entertainment park.
Is there a lot of like Irish influence there?
It's not that relevant in Portland. I think it doesn't feel that Irish. Boston is much more Irish and Ukrainian, by the way. Every time we went to Boston, it would be either Irish days or Ukrainian days there. People say that Irish, Ukrainian, and Italian are 3 strongest diasporas there.
What do you mean Ukrainian days, Irish days? They have like a day where...
Like you would come to the central square and at the city council, they would have Ukrainian flag and it would be Ukrainian week. They would serve Ukrainian food in different restaurants. It's kind of a step towards the diaspora.
Okay. And how long did you spend there?
The first trip was 4 months and then about 9 months. So...
Did you watch the Celtics or the New England Patriots?
You know, baseball came to my life much later than that. I did try, but watching baseball is crazy. Like, in professional games, nothing happens. Like,
it's funny because I mentioned the basketball team and football team. Wait, what's the baseball? The Red Sox.
The Red Sox.
Yeah.
Basketball. No, actually, no.
Did you go to any games, baseball games?
I did, back in Boston, and that was super weird.
Why?
Everybody understands that something is happening. Nobody understands what is happening. Everybody is cheering because nothing is happening. Like, there is just one ball flying. Like, nobody bats, nobody runs. Some people walk from time to time, and it happens for an hour and a half. There are 0, 0, 0, zeros on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it can be boring.
Like, if you don't understand the strategy, and even though I had locals who were trying to explain the rules,
Sure.
it didn't work out very well for me until I tried back in Ukraine to play myself, and only then it's kind of connected.
So, personally, I like baseball because if you start getting into the players, like I would never watch another team besides Los Angeles Dodgers.
Oh.
I even forgot Boston. Who? Red Sox? What?
Celtics.
I forgot. Because I only watch my team, and each person is kind of like this actor. They go up there and you like assess their mood, and when they get hot, they're really interesting to watch because they can't stop hitting the ball.
That's what you said.
And then they get in a slump. And then they get in a slump, and it's also interesting. You see, like, oh, this guy's confidence is shattered.
I know. Why would you watch one team and wouldn't watch it now, the grand finals or something?
The
Super Bowl of baseball.
I'm forgetting all these things too. World Series.
Yep.
Yeah. I wouldn't watch it if my team wasn't there. I don't know why. Because I don't know those players. I'm not so interested in them. Yeah, it's the game. It's fun to play, though. We haven't played baseball here yet, but it's on the agenda.
Coming, yeah.
It's on the to-do list. And you played in Dnipro, you said, with a bunch of friends, big group that you got together. Yeah.
There was a guy, Chris, who brought some gear from the United States. He was military and very strict.
Chris, our coworker.
Chris.
Chris, okay. Important article.
Yep.
Not the Chris.
He taught us many things. My American colleagues from American English Center invited me to play.
Okay.
It turned out to be interesting and fun.
Did he teach you anything besides baseball? No.
He did, but that's not
inappropriate.
It's not for public, right?
Oh, okay. Sounds like a fun guy.
He was. But then he founded his own team.
Shout out to Chris. Hey, Chris.
Now it's decrease. It's the second mentioned Daniel articles.
Okay, yes, that's true.
Fortunately, we don't have any in Russian, so just
Chris, except for those. Chris.
you should have Russian accent here, like Chris.
Mm. When I was in the US, I dated a Russian girl, and
That's why you came to Ukraine, right?
like, I think it's one reason that led me here because I started to learn Russian when I was with her. Anyways, her previous boyfriend was named Chris, and I think her mom or her grandma or somebody in her family couldn't believe that she was dating somebody named Rat. It's my boyfriend, Rat. Sorry, Chris. Sorry, all Chris's, to bring that up.
So, how does dating in the US and dating in Ukraine differ?
Oh, I was afraid you'd open up that box. I don't know. I don't know if I'm the most experienced dater in both of these countries. How does it differ? In the time of quarantine or not in the time of quarantine?
I don't think you have relevant experience back in the US, so it doesn't qualify.
Yeah. I'd never lived in a city in the US, so I don't know what city dating is like in the US. I don't know, you go out and see a movie. There's a big difference. Here you walk. You go for a walk.
Yep.
It's awesome because you save money and you get some exercise and you don't have to stare at this person who you've never met before and just like sit down and stare at each other. I don't know. It's a thing for me. I don't know. I prefer to walk for the first time.
So, what's been your longest strike so far?
My longest strike. What do you mean?
Again, that's what you said, but I mean dating.
Oh, I'm going to try to figure out how to turn the conversation back on you at this point. I don't know, a while, a few years. I told you I had no sensitive topics, so yeah. Two years ish. Yeah. By
2 years is
by
serious.
strike, yeah, like a longest relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah, like 2 years, 3 years.
In
It's
Ukraine
hard
or in
to
the US?
draw the line in Ukraine.
No, you just draw the line in Ukraine and it works.
Yeah, let's say 2 years.
I mentioned that when I was back in the US, I was more popular than I was in Ukraine.
Really?
There's certain, I don't know, you feel exotic there because like almost anything you do
That's
is...
why I live here.
Exactly.
I feel exotic. I feel boring and nobody likes me.
That's what I feel here as well. Welcome to the club. So, my first serious relationship was back there in the US.
Really?
And, now, like, retrospectively, I
What was her
understand.
name?
Sabrina.
Sabrina.
She was not my manager, but she was one of the managers in the food chain where we were working.
Isn't there a movie called Sabrina?
This Sabrina is the Sabrina. It's very different from a Sabrina from
It's
the movie.
the Sabrina.
Yeah. And that was very cool. And then she broke my heart. And in order to recover, I got an English teaching job. And here I am. So that's how a broken heart by an American girlfriend can shape your life.
Broken hearts can be very productive, man. Oof. Made some great songs from broken hearts.
Songs, poetry. I became a workaholic. So these things actually make you a different person.
I don't know if that latter one is that good. But you can get a lot done if you're a workaholic, for sure. So you ended up starting Savvy.
It was kind of a long shot. I get a job at American English Center because I was still a student.
So Savvy didn't start directly because of Sabrina. Shout out to Sabrina. If you're watching.
No, I have to send her a link. We'll get another subscriber to your podcast.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
And probably Chris, so that makes two of us. Two already. Let's see who else we can mention. So, what I was trying to say that I think it's very interesting to see this cross-cultural relationship because there are so many things that can get you similar. Like you, I don't know, like the same type of music, you have similar hobbies. And then just one day on a very, very casual thing, it turns out that, I don't know, you cook totally different stuff and you can't eat what other people... Like I was invited to Sabrina's dinner once. I don't know, guys, how you eat that thing. It was a baked turkey. And it was tasteless. Like there was no taste to this dish at all. Like there was nothing. It was
no salt or seasoning or what?
No. It was just like a big piece of protein that you get to eat.
Sounds healthy.
And the soup was also terrible. So the only thing I missed in my terms in the US was Ukrainian food.
You see, I miss Mexican food. Although they have chica poblana. It's Tintin. I don't know if you know this place close by. They have really good Mexican food.
So I have a scenario for you.
Uh-oh.
You didn't see that coming.
No, I didn't.
So you wake up in a room, and this room is amazing. It has all the music equipment you need. There are people who come to visit, so you get to live your full life there. You can do the sports, like it's huge, with beautiful view. Everything seems super nice. The only thing that there is no kitchen there, and you'll be getting takeaways, or I don't know, the delivered food for you. And you can get only one type of cuisine forever, for the rest of your life.
Rest of my life?
Like there are menus, Chinese food, Ukrainian food, American food, Mexican food, and you can take only one menu, and that will be your menu forever.
Chicken from Buzada Chata. I love that chicken. Yeah, I don't know what. It's the one thing that I like there, and grechka. I don't know if that counts. Can I get two things in my dish?
No, I mean like
chicken
menu.
and grechka.
Pick the entire cuisine.
The entire cuisine. Well, then I wouldn't pick Buzada Chata. I don't know. Let's say Tintin.
Tintin, the pizza part or the Asian part?
The Mexican part.
The Mexican part.
Yeah, I don't think I would live that long if I just ate pizza all the time.
Who says long life is worth living?
I don't know, but I think I would be unhealthy if I ate too much pizza.
Mexican food seems too hot.
You don't like spicy, Slava?
I tried spicy a few times, and each time it didn't end very well for me.
I like it to the point where I'm sweating and crying and suffering.
And trying to find something to eat, like rice or cold beer or something, because everything inside is burning.
Yeah, I like that. Oh, by the way, I can force myself to eat healthy, like salads that I don't want to eat if my mouth is burning. This like lettuce is wonderful when your mouth is burning.
Doesn't help, you know?
Milk too.
Milk?
Milk helps, yeah.
There was a party back in my times in Dnipro when we were cooking different sorts of food. And I was cooking Lebanese rice. And one of my friends, Lauren, she cooked some African beans. Gosh, that was hot. Like
the beans?
I just ate a spoon.
You ate a spoon?
A spoon of beans.
Okay.
And it turned out so hot that at first I just drank someone's beer who was just walking by. I grabbed the beer and drank it all, and it didn't help. So I tried to find some vegetables just to eat, and it also didn't help. And it was just a spoon. And then these people were just sitting and laughing and eating it with straight faces. I don't know. Maybe they're not humans. I kind of hesitate when I see that.
You get accustomed to it. I'm not sure. Spicy food is great for a date. I've done this before where I got Nepalese food and I was just sweating. A first date, in the US, the first date is often sit down and look at each other, not walking.
Well, you just sometimes get to the certain age when it becomes like a job interview. So it's better just staring because, when they ask you like, okay, so what's your job? What's your life interest? What's your attitude to kids? What do you think of my parents? And we know each other for 40 minutes. Why are you asking me this?
Yeah. What about dating interculturally? For example, I dated somebody who couldn't speak English. I don't know if I can.
Well, your Russian is quite good. Come on. Do you
Thanks,
know,
but
kuritsa?
I feel like a child. I know kuritsa, the most important one, and some bad words too. I know those.
One of my friends needed to buy chicken, but he didn't know how to say chicken. He was from the Arabic country, and he came to the cashier in the supermarket. He showed the egg, and he asks, "Где mama? Where is the mother?" Creativity. I think there was a research that was showing that people who are in cross-cultural relationship, they get to find unorthodox and out-of-box solutions much easier because they are used that things just don't go the way they're used to.
Okay, they get used to improvising, becoming creative.
And they also think through perspective that the language doesn't always mean what it means to them. So people put different sense in the same words. And when you say support, for these guys, support could mean something totally contextually different, even though it's the same word.
It's a great way to learn a language.
I know many people say that, but I kind of hesitate because
Why?
I think you don't learn that much because learning takes practice. And when you just do something, I know you can ride a motorcycle or drive. If you drive 10 years, it doesn't mean you've been getting better all 10 years. It meant you drove probably the same skill set. And if you cook, I don't know, chicken soup,
Okay.
it doesn't get better.
Maybe we disagree here. Yeah, I think we're gonna argue now.
Finally!
I think that the practice in language, even with all of the fuck ups, is essential. More important than anything. More important than even learning proper rules. Although you can get stuck making the same mistakes for years, and of course that's problematic.
Could you define practice?
Yeah, opening your mouth and speaking in this foreign language.
This is where we
using various
disagree.
Emotions and being in different scenarios.
There was a podcast where they said a phrase, I don't disagree with you, but... So I don't disagree with you because they say speak in practice about any speaking turn. But let's be realistic. Like practicing means some focus on what you're doing. And if you're just talking at the same level, using the same words you've always been using and not really don't open your mind to what the other person is saying, you could stick to the same level forever. Like I've seen guys who were living in the US for 6 years, pre-intermediate-ish, very fluent, lots of mistakes, not really improving like from month to month to month to month just because they're stuck at the same.
Okay. Well, I guess it would depend on the goal. Maybe the goal is just to speak. And I think often for people when they think about learning a foreign language, well, that's like a huge task to take up. And learning it fluently that's years of your life and like thousands of hours invested. So I think just the ability to speak is like, that's the dream. When you think of learning, I don't know, what language would you like to learn?
I do speak a bit of German and Arabic.
Me too. I didn't know that.
Ich habe Deutsch offiziell gelernt, aber keine Sprache. That would be a different podcast.
Yeah. Nächstes Mal auf Deutsch. So when you think about that, or for somebody who doesn't speak German and they hear us using some phrases, they think, wow, that's exciting. I want to be able to say things in that language and communicate. Even with errors, I think it's a nice place to be. And then it's a totally different thing, just eliminating all those errors and speaking perfectly.
I would say that there is survival language that you need. For example, in terms of Arabic, there are so many genders and numbers. I mean, there's a singular, dual, plural form from 3 to 9, plural form from 10 to more, and these would be different endings for the words. And that's kind of a trick there. But if you actually want to talk, you basically need to know I and you. Because for most conversation, like 80% of talks, you would be talking to a person about what you should do and what I should do. You wouldn't be using they. I think we didn't use many theys in our podcast today. We mostly talk about you, I, sometimes he or she.
So I'm really interested in these like first steps of studying a language. I think that's the most exciting part of studying a language. Maybe it's like when you're discovering this language and you say some sentences and you feel like, wow, I just constructed 6 or 7 word sentence. And I recommend people starting with like, I and you. Forget the other pronouns for now, other people, just I and you. And learning like eat, drink, sleep, and then some silly words. I don't know, go to the bathroom.
Have sex.
That's an important one. And not like apple and boy, girl. How often do we use the word apple? I don't really eat many apples personally.
The first thing I learned in Arabic was ودون شاورما بدون بصل. It means واحد شاورما بدون بصل. One shawarma without onions. And that's when you feel the relevance. And I think it happened both in German and Arabic. When I was studying German, my father was considering opening business in Germany. So I knew why I would potentially use that. It didn't work out at the end, but then it was still engaging and thrilling. And in terms of Arabic, my partner in Dnipro, who was running a conversation club with me, was Arabic speaking, and I like his family a lot, and we were communicating a lot. So I got to talk to him and get these little introductions, questions, jokes, and other things into the conversation, and it kind of energized my learning. But if it's just learning for the sake of learning, that's kind of creepy. One of my friends, I don't get people who study Spanish just because they want to study Spanish and they never speak Spanish.
I did this for years with a lot of languages in my bedroom. All of them, and Farsi, Swahili. And I think from that experience, I came out thinking, I don't really like studying languages from books. Back then, I read a lot of books. I read a few books in Russian. I read Harry Potter in Russian. And I came to Ukraine thinking, I know this language. I can read Harry Potter. And nothing. I couldn't speak. I couldn't understand anybody.
I have a story for you. It's probably will introduce another listener to your podcast. His name is Tim.
Great.
And he's
Keep doing that.
deputy dean in
Yo, Tim.
Kyiv Mahila Business School.
Welcome.
When the lockdown started, he installed Duolingo for Italian language.
Oh.
And about a few months ago,
I did it also.
we met to discuss some texts, and he was the moderator of the discussion. And he made an introduction to the text in Italian. And it sounded so cool. So he tried to apply these things, and even the body language became very Italian.
It's interesting that how that comes out. You become a different person. You use body language. You start to think differently.
I would say that my intonations in English and Russian are very different. If you check out my podcast and bi-weekly that we do in Russian language, I think that the tone, voice, the tempo look very different than what we are doing here right now.
Okay. Is that like video? Because sometimes I see your video stuff on social media. But it's like live.
No, lives are from Savvy, and we do have the videos for bi-weekly with my friend Dima. He's in London right now. It was a very weird time to relocate. Shout out to Dima.
Shout out to Dima.
That would be the fourth listener. You see how the audience extension works here.
Let's go.
Personalization.
So have you used Arabic in an Arabic-speaking country?
I haven't been to an Arabic-speaking country, to be honest.
What? I thought all Ukrainians went to Egypt.
No, not me.
No.
I've tried this sort of rest, and it doesn't really work.
You don't like the all-inclusive? I've never done an all-inclusive. It's my dream. It sounds so nice. I know everybody here thinks
it could be a nightmare.
Why?
Like kids all around, everything the same.
Slava, you don't like kids?
That's a provocative question. I have a question back about the podcast.
Depends who's listening.
Your podcast is named Room 36. Why?
It's a secret.
Secret for you as well?
No, I know why it's from 36.
Tell us.
It's a secret.
You could
someday I'll share. Let's just say for now it's our office number, yeah?
It is our office number.
By chance. Yep. It's also my friend Alan's apartment. 36. No, there's a different, it's a deeper conversation. It's a concept that I like, and I'll share someday.
On the 36th episode of Room 36?
Yeah, let's talk about all-inclusives. No, not on 36. Maybe the 136.
The 136?
Yeah, if we do that many.
2 years from now?
I would like to do more. I had a goal of doing 50 of these this year, but I think it's not possible.
How did you end up in podcasting at the first time?
Wow. You throw all these questions my way. I like people. I find them very interesting. And I kind of want to like capture a conversation. You know, we have pictures where we capture what we look like at a certain age and time. But we don't have like conversations captured so much. It's not so important that it's like video, but I think it's more interesting if it's video. And you get an idea of like who we were at this time, and it's captured and done. Also, I wanted to get used to seeing myself on camera. I'm camera shy.
That's the camera. Could you?
No, don't remind me.
You're doing great. Like
you too, Slava. You're doing great. Good job. Молодец.
I don't have that much of an external reference, though. So
did you get camera shy?
You know, I think after debating as a high school kid, it kind of turns off all the anxiety about. There is little bit of tension, but it's not substantial.
Okay. So, all-inclusive?
No. The podcasting, it's interesting. How do you pick those scenarios for the guys each time?
It's usually right before. I thought of yours as I was walking here. Really? It's just something abstract. You know, more recently I've become more like open and comfortable with my strangeness, let's say. I think I'm a very creative person. I have a lot of crazy imaginations and like silly ideas. I'm this type of person who you see walking outside and I'm just like, and just start laughing for no reason. Stas knows. We're often here recording in the studio and then suddenly I just start laughing. Don't worry, I try not to do it at work. Try to stay professional.
Try.
But I do laugh a lot at work. But that's why I can't work with. It's difficult for me to communicate with like low-level English speakers because it's very funny. It's very funny for me.
Like maybe mistakes. That's okay for them. That would be feedback.
Yeah, maybe they like. They don't know if I'm laughing with them or at them.
There was a very cool video. It was named "Music is a Language Too," and the speaker, I think it wasn't TED. The guy was explaining the concept that learning music is very similar to learning the language. You take the same principles, like you get better when you play with professionals. And the same with language. When you talk to your parents, you learn. If you just get into the group of toddlers, you'll never start talking because nobody actually speaks the actual language that you are supposed to learn.
You'll speak like a toddler.
But like if all the toddlers use 6 words, that would be the entire vocabulary for all the group. And the reaction to the mistakes, like when a kid makes a mistake, most parents just laugh and correct very, very softly, saying like, ha ha ha, no, you should say, I hate you, not I'm hating you. And with all these little corrections and light attitude, I think in music it's also quite important. I try, like you inspired me to take guitar classes again.
Really?
And I realized that I was kind of punishing myself for making mistakes. Like, when I try to practice a difficult drill and then something doesn't work once, twice, 3 times, I get this frustration. And I realized that, okay, if I were a kid and I was learning my first language, would I get frustrated if I wasn't able to pronounce the words Buratina or whatever word I was trying to pronounce?
Buratina? What's that?
It's a Russian mutation of Pinocchio.
Okay.
But it's fun. You should read the book.
So on this topic of like music and scenarios, making them up, I think it's easy for me to just like create something extremely random on the spot, and I embrace that more and more now. It's like an outlet for me to get rid of like these random ideas and this energy or mood. My mood fluctuates hardcore. And I remember in high school, this one guy said, I remember he told somebody else and I overheard, like, I don't think anybody realizes how weird Daniel is. And I thought like, oh, I better try and be normal for now. Like, and then once you embrace it and you can use it for something cool, I don't know, like a song, I feel like I could write a song pretty much anytime and like use my current mood to make it happen.
I think embracing is one thing, but also it's about managing your state, because for improvisation, you have to be on this right edge of being thrilled and chill. You don't have to be too stressed, because if you are, then it probably will not work out. But if you're too relaxed, it wouldn't be something energizing or driving. So there is always this balance for any kind of improvisation, not just in music, in verbal improvisation, in art. I think that one of the biggest challenges for people who do anything creative is being able to self-manage this state and not to get into the extremes.
Sure, I think so. Box it up. I have this concept I like. When you have some chaos, you should put it in a bardachok. Like when you have some type of bardak or mess in your life, try to compartmentalize it somehow. Okay, that's my craziness. It's okay. Next.
When I was taking Celta in British Council, I really liked the idea that they were introducing about 2 types of activities, steerers and settlers. And in terms of language, they mean that if the group is too quiet, you do a steerer. If the group is too too fast, you settle them down by a settler. And I thought that maybe this thing could work for us as well as humans in general. So when you feel that you are too something, you just apply a steerer or settler. And for example, you're too boring, just go and shout at people on the streets.
How can you apply that in your... That's why they're doing that. I saw some people doing that around the block.
Exactly.
They're just steering.
Steering.
Yeah. How do you use this in your life? If you don't mind sharing.
Like my motorcycle was actually the moment when it was the lockdown in Ukraine. I realized that I've been staying at the same spot at the same time for quite a while. and I didn't really want a car, but I did want the speed.
Yeah.
So-
Why didn't you want a car?
Cars are kind of frustrating for me personally because I never chose one. Like I had to buy my first car because my mom needed me to drive somewhere.
Okay.
And then I got the second car because it was social obligations from like my social status. I'm the top manager. I should be driving that type of cars.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized that it was for everyone but me.
Mm-hmm. So you have this been there, done that thing with a car.
Yeah.
Check.
Cars, like not interested anymore. Maybe when I move like to village and get a family, I'll get back to this concept, but not today.
Okay. You've had the motorcycle for a year?
A bit less, yeah. I'm
Uh-huh.
wet behind the ears.
Is it safe riding a motorcycle around Kyiv?
Is it safe riding a motorcycle anywhere?
Anywhere.
No, it's not. And there is nothing rational in riding a motorcycle. And I would like to keep this risk every time I take the bike and ride somewhere.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's a very impressive feeling of the proper concentration because when you are riding, it's very different from a car. Like in the car, you can get into this meditative state when you just semi-control the situation because everything is very settled and protected. And I was trying to take a longer ride, about 160 miles. And this thing...
160 miles. What's that in kilometers? 250-ish.
Yeah, actually 250 sharp.
In what direction?
My father's parents live, it's like probably towards Belarus and Lithuania, northwest from Kyiv. Not far from Chernobyl.
Oh, okay. And how was it?
It was one of the first warm weeks in spring, and I can remember every part of the road, like all these birds that I could see, and the fields, and the puddles in the fields, and the little green things that were just appearing back at those weeks. It felt as if you are part of the landscape, that you don't feel while taking any kind of transport. Maybe like a bicycle a bit, but the bicycle is a different sort of speed, so... in this case, it feels like a movie. You're part of the changing picture, but you get all the details. You can see every little thing that is happening around you, and the wind also brings a certain. I don't know. Maybe it's the social stereotype, but it's associated with some sort of freedom and breathing and living, and this spirit is highly valuable.
What's the countryside like?
It's like a countryside. What do you mean? What is it like?
I don't know. Are there trees? Are there like a lot of woodlands, or is it just fields, open fields?
In that direction, there are lots of forests, and they're mostly pine forests. Or then a bit deeper, they get into leaves, not the needles. There are fields, but they're all agricultural. There are no like wild fields without anything. They're mostly harvesting something or growing something.
Oh, I just remembered when I was in California, we met this guy from Paraguay. My mom's from Paraguay, by the way. And he messaged my mom. I don't know how they knew each other because they're Paraguayan. Hey, can I come stay at your family's place? I'm in Oregon and I'm riding down there on my bicycle. And he just slept on the side of the road, I think in a very tiny tent. And he said that he saw a lot of like banana peels the whole time. He was surprised how many banana peels the Americans like toss out on the side of the road. And the craziest thing is he showed up with like a big black plastic bag with a dead deer inside of it.
A plastic bag with a dead deer.
A dead deer. He found a dead deer. There was a roadkill.
And you remember that because?
Because I was wondering if you saw any dead deer or banana peels on your trip.
None of those.
What's on the side of there? Is there trash?
I believe Oregon and Ukraine are very different.
Yeah, he cooked this dish. He would make a fire and like cook pieces of this deer. And he still had some when he came to us. I think he finished cooking it at our house.
Have you tasted?
No, not a big deer eater.
Well, it could have been a crocodile.
Slava, what's the craziest thing you've ever eaten?
African beans.
What about meat?
Meat?
Have you eaten any dogs?
Moose.
You ate moose?
It was пирожки with moose.
Mm.
Пирожки с лосятиной.
In Canada or what?
Estonia.
Do they have moose? They imported the moose, probably.
From Finland, I guess.
They have moose in Finland. Or do you call it meese? Mooses.
Mooses? No, mooses sounds like... They have these sorts of meat in Finland.
Oh, the animal. I thought you meant the chocolate moose. I'm joking.
Пирожки with chocolate.
I ate whale once. That's the only interesting thing I ate. And horse.
Horse is kind of casual.
You had horse?
Everybody does that.
Yeah, here?
You do too, yeah. Almost all the time.
What do you mean? By accident?
Like every time they say
Somebody
beef,
gets shawarma.
it doesn't always mean beef, yeah.
Actually, I don't eat... generally, I don't eat mammals. Only birds.
You know, with whale, it's kind
And
of
fish.
scary because whale could potentially eat you.
Yes, I've read one story about a whale eating a human. I think it's in the Bible.
Kind of a revenge.
Yeah, Jonah.
So, Daniel, what's the craziest thing you have ever said to anyone in Ukraine?
Probably I love you. Probably maybe one that got me in trouble. I don't think I've said many crazy things to people in Ukraine.
I don't know, tell us about I love you. How did it happen? Give us more details.
One too many Guinness. Makes you love everybody.
Who was the object of your love?
A cat. Who am I going to share? A girl, woman. By the way, when can I say girl and when can I say woman? I know it's a sensitive topic in Ukraine.
You pretty much always say девушка, which is something between.
Okay.
Like, девушка starts from 14 and up until you like
50, 60.
Like,
still
depends on your preferences.
Okay.
If there is any sort of attraction, it would be девушка.
What about in English? When can we say woman? What's the rule? Is it 18? Is it 25?
You know, I have some kind of issue with woman word, so I prefer saying lady, even though it's not always appropriate. But
lady, I like mademoiselle.
Mademoiselle?
Yeah, I don't know.
Ma'am? No, that's...
But I guess that's the older one. What is some slang that I should learn in Ukrainian or Russian?
I think that you should know the word струёвый. Струёвый?
What's струёвый?
Red.
What? Red?
Red.
Rad. Rad. Струёвый.
Yeah,
It's
like
Ukrainian or Russian? Or
Ukrainian. Like струёва пісня or струёвый хлопець.
Струёвый хлопец.
It means you're a red guy.
Can I go out and say like, я струёвый хлопец?
That wouldn't
I'm
be
a
very
rad guy.
modest of you. You could.
In some situations, I think I should say.
I think you could say it about something else. Like you like a book, you like a poem, you like a song, or you would like to advertise a podcast. You can say, guys, струёвый podcast, room 36.
Yes, indeed. We'll take that small clip and use it. What about words for like guy, girl, dude, fella? Пацан. I know пацан, no?
I had a chance to Google what пацан and all these words mean historically, and you wouldn't like that. So I would say, like, people who say чувак, пацан, they didn't...
What's chuvak?
Oh.
I thought it just means
let's say they
guy,
all have the
fella.
animal origin.
Oh, okay.
And not very appropriate to say in public.
So they're all animal, or it's like...
They're kind of animals without some parts of organs.
What kind of animal doesn't have some parts of its organs?
The ones that got something cut.
Oh.
So, well, you should be careful using the slang words in this case.
I don't think I know those words in English. The animal, they got their things cut.
I'm kind of comfortable using English word dude, I think, or guy. Just speak English whenever you have to address someone, then they'll be fine.
Do you use the British ones? Bloke? Don't know those other ones.
I don't know either. And I don't know. I'm not that much into slang, I guess.
Okay. You're professional.
It's not about... professional slang is also slang. So that doesn't really work. I think that I have too diverse environment around me. Like people come from different places, different countries, and when you get too focused on that's what she said jokes, then Australian guys stop appreciating that, and British guy kind of look at you snobbishly. So and Europeans just get lost, and you have to explain. And when you explain the joke, that's not the place where you want to be.
Okay. So one of my friends here was telling me, or asked me, Daniel, is it can't or can't or can't?
There was a very cool meme about Emmanuel Kant, but at least Emmanuel tried.
Wow. So Slava, we're getting to about that time. I want to ask you, it's like a tradition, what's your favorite thing about your own life? At this very moment, what comes to mind?
Reflection.
Reflection.
Like the idea that most things have sense, and even things that seem meaningless, they do have the meaning if you take some time and effort to think about it.
What do you say to those people who prefer to see no meaning in anything? By the way, it's not me.
I would ask, what's the meaning of not looking for meaning? Or what's the sense, or what's the point in...
I went cross-eyed. Okay, reflection.
So I have a scenario for you to close it.
You're a great podcast guest.
Imagine that you're running a podcast. You're a host.
Okay.
And you get a chance to invite Jennifer Lopez, Verka Serduchka, or your cousin.
Oh, man. First of all, I don't know who Verka Number
Verka
two.
Serduchka. That's a cultural gap.
Yep. I'd invite her. I get to meet somebody new. Not that I know Jennifer Lopez. I know my cousins. I'd rather talk to them on the phone. But if it means that they can come to Ukraine, maybe my cousin. Shout out to you, cousin. Don't know which one you I have a lot of cousins.
That's actually a very nice move. You can send links to all of them mentioning that they are the cousins.
Yeah, I was thinking of you, cousin. So, Slava, thank you so much for coming today on your motorcycle. I enjoyed chatting with you. And see you next time. Maybe see you here again one of these days.
Good luck and prosperity to Room 36. Hopefully in about 100 episodes we'll know why it is Room 36.
Yeah, I'll think about when it's going to be. I'll reflect. Hope you guys reflect too. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Later.